Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be looking at Bitcoin and kind of just looking at the aftermath of yesterday of what we saw with altcoins. And what we noticed was that Bitcoin was relatively, uh, unaffected by this. We can flip it to the daily, and you'll see that yesterday was a downturn of about 2.5%. You know, 2.5% is what we do on a regular basis. I mean, 2 days ago we had a dump bigger than yesterday's, so we can safely say that Bitcoin was relatively unaffected by this, and it continues to hold the level of around $23,000. Now it is range bound from as high as 24.5 to as low as like 22, and this is something that we're constantly looking at. It's still early on. We do say that we want Bitcoin to hold levels, but despite that, it just keeps on going up. We are still hopeful that at some point Bitcoin will hold a level, start going sideways to give some relief for altcoins. But right now, what am I targeting, at least with Bitcoin, is that if it stays at this level and stays at this consistent $23,000, our target or my target would be in 9 weeks' time, which would be 3 months, well, a little less than 3 months, maybe 2.5 months. So, middle of March, so end of Q1, that we'll finally see the 20-week moving average cross over the all-time high. And how do I get to that conclusion? Well, we've noticed that the moving average is increasing at a fairly rapid rate. I mean, uh, it's increasing at about $500 per week at these levels, about $500 per week, which brings it to right now about 14.5. Now, if we keep in mind that it's increasing at $500 every week, how far is it to get to $19,000? Well, it's about 9 weeks. So, with that said, we're looking, if we take the date, I mean, I had the date here, but I'll draw it again. 9 weeks time, and we're looking at, end of February, perhaps middle of March, because we also need to be aware that if Bitcoin does continue to go sideways from here, then eventually in the latter of the 9 weeks, we'll see the moving average kind of taper off, not at this insane trend angle here that we see right now, but kind of level off a bit. But within 9 weeks' time, maybe 10, 11 weeks' time, we should see the moving average cross $19,000, which would be around the candle all-time high for Bitcoin. And that's pretty significant if we take into consideration that the 20-week moving average is a line that Bitcoin will not cross or close under within a bull market. Then an argument can be made that this might be the last, like this is the last time we'll see $20,000 for the foreseeable future. Because if we think that Bitcoin's in a bull market, we think that it's the same kind of bull market that we saw in 2017. Well, that took place for a number of years. So a theory is that we would not be seeing $20,000 for the immediate future within a few years if the 20-week moving average does cross past that all-time high. Also keep in mind that we haven't been at the 20-week moving average in some time. It's been roughly 11 weeks. Now, if we look at the past bull market, we notice that there is certain time frames where we don't reach the 20-week moving average. You could say this is one, so that was about 11 weeks. Uh, this right here was about 10 weeks. This right here was 15 weeks. From here to here was 15 weeks. So around starting 10 weeks is when we should start seeing the 20 week make contact again with the price. Currently, right now, we're at 11 weeks, so it's almost nearing that time. If we bring it up to another 9 weeks, that's 20 weeks of price action that has not met the 20-week moving average, which is something to take note of. I mean, the 2019 bull run, we didn't make contact until 25 weeks in, and for the last hurrah before we made contact with the 20 week, the last time was 20 weeks as well. So keep that in mind. That's also something to consider. We haven't touched the 20 week in some time. Now, it doesn't have to be like the last run. All runs are different, but I would argue that there's some similarities to be taken seriously and to take note of to see if history will at least rhyme it and not necessarily repeat. With that said, I wanted to show what happened the last time Bitcoin did this. So when we broke past the all-time high, as we could see here the last time, and came back down, it just so happened that the 20-week moving average and the all-time high were around the same level. Now, if we were to repeat that, then it would be roughly 9 weeks. Like that's roughly how long it will take, considering the fact that the moving average is increasing every $500 per week. It'll take about 9 weeks to get there to the all-time high. If Bitcoin corrects there, then that's essentially what we'll see. Is we'll see that the 20-week moving average around 9 weeks, give or take 1 or 2 weeks, we'll see that Bitcoin might make contact with the prior all-time high and the 20-week moving average. And that would be an interesting pattern that has now happened twice. But those are the things that I'm looking at. I'm really looking at the 20-week moving average, being quite astonished on how fast it's increasing. Again, $500 plus per week is quite amazing. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to talk to you guys about today. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.